Well, here we are.
Morning.
Yeah, made it to Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday.
It is, last I heard.
Yeah, we've got Jenny on,
All right.
and then there's Jenny, and then out in Waterfall we have Jenny,
Jenny.
and we just went all blurry. Don't worry, Jenny, it's not you. That was us. Um,
Oh.
so, Jenny, you've never looked better. Good morning, Bethany. Oh man. Gosh, lots happening, going
Oh.
on.
Busy, busy, busy.
I'm. They heard me say this on Monday. Well, they hear me say this all the time, but I can't believe that it's almost Thanksgiving.
And I think we get a break right after Christmas 2027.
To, yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Um, so so yeah, that's cool. I was just thinking we're gonna be gone the week of Thanksgiving, and that seemed so far away until I realized, oh, that's the week
No.
after
Yeah.
next.
A couple weeks away.
Beverly's on. Good morning, Beverly from
Oh,
snowy
yeah.
High Rolls.
There's a package outside the front door. I think your dish drain made it.
What, did it come overnight?
It must have. It was sitting outside the front door this morning.
I saw that. That is cool. It's a sanctuary city for the unborn.
I believe it. Wow.
Yeah, that was on the ballot, I suppose, yesterday.
Very
Um,
cool.
all of the bonds and constitutional amendments passed. I saw on our ballot.
Cool.
I was like, that was a lot of constitutional amendments. I didn't think you did
It
that
is.
very often.
Yeah, I especially like the one where the governor gets to serve a year if he's appointed, he or she's appointed.
Did it say governor?
No, it's a
Some
judge.
judge, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So if they're appointed, they
Get
serve
to
a year, even
before,
if they're up for election.
right.
So they
I
don't
thought
just
that was a
serve
good
for a
idea.
couple of months. Well, the problem with positions like that is it takes them 6 months to,
Get
if
your
they're
feet on the
new, yeah,
ground.
if they're new
Yeah,
to kind of go through all that. So yeah, that made sense to me. Yeah,
we voted.
we didn't have one that said the governor could only serve for a year. That
Okay, and
I might
moving
I might
on.
sponsor that bill. Uh, and she said maybe San Angelo. What I think is absurd. Well, I guess they are in now, but they initially their projecting was that they wouldn't know really all the races until noon today.
Right. That's what they were saying this morning.
We
Still,
we live in an electronic society. How can that be?
I know. They kept flashing that advertisement of what was it? Dewey beats Truman, and Truman's
Oh,
holding up the.
yeah,
They're being careful. And California's taken a long time.
yeah.
And
I
I,
just
I didn't hear about Pennsylvania whether they're gonna wait on that or
I
I
didn't.
didn't have time to look this morning. But
Yeah,
I love politics.
I don't, and I don't. Yeah.
My sister and I keep saying that in 2,000 years, as I was telling Larry, going to be a footnote in the back pocket of some
Archaeologist,
archaeologist notebook.
archaeologist. Yeah.
Yeah, archaeologist that nobody reads anyway, so I don't get wrapped around the axle, but I sure enjoy that. Politics and football, I love.
Dennis snuck in there. Hey, Dennis. I love languages.
Oh yeah,
And so, do you know that the word politicks just literally means
a
many
bunch of
blood-sucking insects? I
yeah,
mean,
and it is so true.
yeah. So yeah. Anyhow, oh, Kim's on. Good morning, Kim. So here's the cool thing
Okay.
that we have to remind ourselves about.
Yeah.
No matter how elections go, no matter what it looks like after the elections, God is still in control.
And it's all about the lost.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, the Jesus came to seek and save the lost. That's the big thing. And I'm a firm believer that we as believers need to be influences. We need to influence and inform culture. Unfortunately, for so long, it's been the other way around. In fact, I'll say stuff to Christians. Um, it's a biblical worldview that opposes our earthly worldview, and they're shocked when I say stuff, and I'm like, well, yeah, the Bible doesn't say anything about doing that, you know.
Yeah.
And they're like, but it's because we're in. Here's one. You guys have heard me jump on this little stump a lot. I'm not going to get on dating though, but I could. But when your kids turn 18, they're on their own.
Yeah.
I
Not
I haven't
biblical
found
at
that verse
all.
in the Bible,
Not well.
old
It's
or new.
180 degrees out
I
from the
haven't looked
Bible.
at the apocryphal books yet. Maybe it's in the Book of Hesitations or something. Um, uh, I do. There is a verse in the Bible that comes pretty close to "We brought you into this world, and we can take you out." Yeah. It says,
Yeah.
"Honor your mother and father, so
So
that
you
you may
can
live
live
long
long.
in the land." That's pretty close to "They brought you into this world, they can take you out." Um, but uh, but anyhow, so yeah, get out and vote, and then trust God,
Yeah.
no matter what happens. I'm pretty sure Nero isn't our governor or our president, so
There you
we're
go.
better off than the Romans were,
Yep.
but the Christians during that time. So yeah, so the message was the lost parables, and I love doing stuff just to make people go
Mm.
It's not that I found some writings that were not in the Bible and I decided I was going to include them. Here are the lost parables, the ones you've never read about. But Jesus gets to that place in chapter 15. I'm already working on
15,
next week.
yeah.
Chapter 15, that he and they're parables that we've heard, the coin, the sheep, and the boy, the son. But it's always called the prodigal son. The word prodigal means wasteful, um, which is funny because we're going to get into another wasteful parable for Sunday.
Yeah.
But I'm not calling it that. So, in fact, I don't remember what the message title is. Then that's I have to walk backwards before I can walk frontwards. So, um, so the lost sheep, the lost coin, and the lost son.
Right.
And so the point that Jesus is making, he's there with the Pharisees, and they're grumbling because he
Hanging out with sinners.
and he eats with them.
I know.
Golly, and that really, our men's Bible study has really been fleshing it out for us with the Jewish laws that they followed and how ingrained that was in them. Just for them, it was detestable to eat with the Gentile, and it made them ceremonially unclean, which was a big deal for us. We're just like, what? Hand sanitizer, man, Purell. But for them, it was huge.
I love that story they told in men's Bible study about going into the centurion's house and going, "Oh, you guys are dirty. I just never been in here."
You have to understand, until yesterday, I considered you guys impure and unclean. I mean, those are the words that he used.
Yeah.
Impure and unclean. I couldn't even step foot in your house, or I would be impure and unclean and have to go through the whole cleansing process, the ritual.
Yeah. Welcome. Want a hot dog?
Yeah, I know. Ooh, it's all pork. How about a sour? What do you know? Call those bratwurst? Yeah.
Sauerbraten, yeah.
Yeah. So, so that's hard for us to imagine, but they couldn't get past that Jesus hung out with the tax collectors, the sinners, the Gentiles, the unclean, and he ate with them. Jesus broke so many of their laws, and so Jesus took the opportunity to let them know what the new covenant was going to look like. And he basically said this. I'm sure they got it by the third parable.
Yeah.
I didn't come for you. And that, we hear that and we think, well, yeah, Jesus, God loved the world. He did come for them, but in their eyes, they were in.
Right.
Because they
He
were
came
Jews.
for them and nobody else.
Yeah, they were Jews. And Jesus is like, so it's like a shepherd that has 100 sheep, and one of them goes away. He leaves the 99 to go after that one. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm eating with the tax collectors and the sinners, the Gentiles. And then he says it's like a woman who lost a coin. And this is so funny for us because you're like, there's not a coin that's worth us looking for unless you got some gold,
Yeah.
a gold medallion or something. Um, Good morning, Jose. He's retired.
Ah,
He he's having a little trouble. He set his clock back in a little more than an hour, so he's poor Jose.
threw his clock away.
Yeah. So she loses a coin. She sweeps her house, looks everywhere, every nook and cranny until she finds it, and then she celebrates when she does. And then he talks about the lost son, the son that, man, hugely disrespectful. Hey, can I just go ahead and get my inheritance? I don't want to wait for you to die. Then he goes and blows it all uh, on Florida time. Aren't they ahead of us? FLA, is that
Florida.
okay?
Yep.
What Jose? I never know.
Sure.
He types with a Cuban accent, so it's hard to. so so Jesus said those. Now in the parable of the lost son or the prodigal son, he really brings out their attitudes. We all understand this, right? That the prodigal son is the Gentile, the tax collector. The older son is the Jew. I
Right.
mean, that is crystal clear in here. And by the way, we use this a lot. Someone who's a Christian who goes away and comes back. That's really not what Jesus is talking about
Yeah.
at all. so so Jesus is saying this, and by the end of this parable, they got it what he was saying because they were the upset older son. So what do you mean? Look at the things he did, and so that was their attitude toward Gentiles. Hey, they, they didn't follow God. They weren't God followers. They weren't God's chosen people. They didn't, do all this. They don't follow all these dietary laws and rituals to be ceremonial. I can't even say it.
Ceremoniously.
Thank you. Ceremonially pure and
Yeah.
clean instead of the Gentiles
He
impure.
helped me with archaeology.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah. so so Jesus made it crystal clear, and so here's the point for us that we need to remember because we can become like the older son
Oh, easily.
as Christians, in the church. We do this a lot. I'm Hear me well. I'm not saying that we don't stand up and against injustice. We should do that, particularly for those who can't stand for themselves,
Yeah.
right? So we should do that. We obviously need to do that. We need to be the influencers in our culture. I'm getting an accent too, but my R's are dropping off.
Y'all.
So we need to do that, but it's easy for us to walk around angry at unbelievers because they're acting like unbelievers.
Yeah.
That's an easy thing to do. Particularly, you loved political stuff. I don't like political stuff at all. But because it's been so polarizing in my lifetime. I mean, the last election was the most polarizing.
For
The
a long
last two,
time.
actually, the most polarizing in my lifetime. Um, but we need to remember that those are the people that we're supposed to be reaching.
Yeah. I've heard it a bunch of times that you attack the sin, not the sinner.
Sometimes even that's hard, though.
Yeah.
For us to.
Well, we're swimming upstream. I've said this before, but one of my favorite visuals is that thing from Chosen where all the fish are swimming this way and then one turns and goes the other way against the stream. And anytime we're not for the sinners, anytime we are for the sinners, it's all about them. We're swimming against the stream because it's all about me. It's all about.
and and so I want Jesus' reminder or Jesus' message to the religious leaders to be our reminder, is that Jesus came to seek and save the lost.
And that ties right into last week. How do we manage that on a daily basis? Well, keep the mission in mind.
Well, yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
The Boy, I have to be careful with this. Um, you went on a cruise just recently. Cynthia and I went on a cruise for our 30th. Dang, that makes me feel old. anniversary.
That's just last week.
Oh, okay, yeah. Um, so we went on a cruise for our 30th anniversary, and man, cruise ships are fun. I mean, you can you don't have to spend a dime if you don't want to. I mean, everything's you can have it so everything's included in the cruise.
Yeah.
But you can go there and eat this, and just kind of sit down, and the cruise is really all about you. Now,
Yeah.
I did hear, was it you? I did hear about somebody who the husband went, the wife was like going on cruises, but the husband didn't. So he went as missionaries. Was that Jose that
Oh,
was telling us that?
yeah, it was Jose. Yeah.
So we could maybe work that out. That would be a one of those really hard struggles between, is it about me or about
Yeah.
them? but but for cruises, it's that way. And unfortunately, we tend to think that the church is like a cruise ship.
Yeah.
That it's about my comfort. I listen to these things all the time, because there are some minor tweaks we can make to make things better. Um, but if the lights have a fan that make a noise, or if the fans are blowing and low, it's a little bit too cool. I haven't heard anyone complain about uncomfortable seats since we got those chairs long ago.
Yeah, those are nice.
But it's easy for us to kind of think that it's a cruise ship. This is about us. And what the way that Jesus talks about it is, we're followers or fishers, that he wants to make us fishers of men.
Yeah.
And so this is a working fishing boat. Um, that,
Yeah.
that
Not a little dinghy, but a professional
yeah,
industrial.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and so everyone has a part to do. And you ever watch most dangerous catch, or those kind of shows?
Yeah, it's work.
I look at that and think, well, first of all, they're somewhere where like the water is freezing on the lines. It does not the Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they if they're not working, they're getting a few hours sleep.
I told Larry this earlier, and Bev will get mad at me later. But when Larry said it Sunday that the church isn't a cruise ship, it's a fishing boat, Bev went, "Ooh, that's good."
But if we think about that we're not here for comfort, that we're here to catch.
Hmm.
We're here to catch fish. And so,
And you can't catch many fish if you don't toss a line outside the boat.
well, you know what? So we went on a 7-day cruise. I didn't catch a single fish.
They don't much jump into the boat. Well, I
No.
guess occasionally, but
Not that boat, not the
yeah,
one we were on.
not a big percentage.
Yeah. So um, for us, we just need to remember that. So it's not about us. I'm going back to my notes. It's not about us. It's about them. And that's a hard thing for us to kind to do,
Yeah.
to think, because
I'm just, I'm getting more and more about getting outside the boat, casting the lines out. Kathy is really good about that with the youth
hmm
and getting them out into the community, helping folks.
yeah,
Is she on today? I don't see
she might be. Some people are on
her. Okay.
and they
Well,
don't.
if you're there, Kathy, thanks. That's a great idea.
We don't know if they don't say anything, but
Yeah.
like I saw Christine was on, my niece.
Huh.
Oh, I gotta tell you this.
Okay.
So Michael he was on a podcast, with, I forget her name is, Alyssa, this a lady who is pretty well known in the apologetic circles. Frank Turek actually is the one who told her she needed to get Michael on.
Oh. Okay.
And so, uh, and Michael did a great interview on there, and it's just really opening doors. He still needs, he's got a lot of funding left to do, and so that's really starting to kind of get the ball rolling, and the funding for that.
Cool.
That guy, that I don't even, every apologist that you could think that you would want on, he has. The only one that he didn't get, and he still has 6 more to interview, that he didn't get that he wanted, was William Lane Craig.
Don't know him.
Yeah, he does Reasonable Faith. That's the
Oh,
one,
okay.
those videos that we did.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you name a guy, he's got him. I mean, this
That's
is like
awesome.
crazy God stuff. And the lady on the podcast just went on and on and on about the high quality. You know, she said Frank Turek said, "Hey, you need to get this guy on." You know, so
Cool. The
I'm
trailer
like,
was awesome.
"Oh man,"
Yeah.
I told him
I saw you on the trailer.
just a blip, just a blip. He's like, "Okay, I interviewed him for 3 hours. I got one sentence where
That I
he's
can
actually
use.
making a little bit of sense." You know. Yeah, that was fun. But it's just cool. I mean, heavy hitters. I'm almost like, dude, I don't think you need to put me in there. You know, you got all of these world-renowned apologists and Hugh Ross, who's a world-renowned physicist. All these people, Pastor Larry.
From Cloud Grog.
Yeah.
You did
So,
good though. You did
um,
good.
well, it was 3 hours. He got a sentence. Yeah. But and he dubbed in the voice, and I don't know. But anyhow, so again, that was a rabbit we chased a ways. We don't always know who's on. I saw Christine was on,
But that's neat because Michael's going, tossing lines off the boat. He's got the mission down pat.
and he got to share his testimony on
That's
there,
awesome.
so that was way cool.
In that interview with the lady, I saw that.
Yeah,
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 shared his testimony. That was very cool.
yeah, yeah. So that was neat. So let's just remember that. Oh.
Oh, great,
Christina,
Christina.
the thing is, I try to make it simple enough for me, and I figure that'll help other people. Um, yeah,
His simple is just two steps above mine. My
yeah,
mind, yeah.
yeah. I
But
people
then,
tell me that you explain things in a way I can understand. I said, well, that's just because that's the level I'm at right there. Um, but I appreciate that. Uh, I miss them. I wanna see
so
them.
true.
And you don't have to
Very
apologize
cool.
about it. But let's remember why we're here. Jesus came to seek and save the lost, and he had to remind people about that all the time. You know, it's not the healthy that need the physician, but it's the sick. Um, and so let's remember that that's why we're here. On an encouraging note, I've been meeting with some guys, and I've simple makes it stick. Yeah, good. I'm sticky too. Yeah. I I usually go in threes because I can remember three things. But if you give me a fourth thing, I'll forget the first one. So um, so let's remember that we're here for the lost, and we stand against injustice. We do all that, but let's reach out to them, and sometimes it gets hard. Sometimes we got to get out of the boat. Peter,
Yeah.
twice when Jesus said cast the net. One was when he first called him, and then the other was after the resurrection when he was calling him again. Peter hopped out of the boat to help because there were so many fish, the net was breaking.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be cool?
that would be cool.
Sometimes we have to get out of the boat to get the fish.
You talk about the mission. Bev has really pushed me on memory verses,
Mm-hmm.
and Ephesians 2:10, where
Mm-hmm.
we're created for a purpose. And
That he prepared ahead of time.
yeah,
That was the VBS Bible verse
what was it?
last time or time before.
Okay.
It was last time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to sit on the couch and go, got mine.
um, but let's remember that. That means we have to get out of our comfort zones. Um, we have to talk and work with people that are kind of messed up.
Yeah.
It's been cool for me. God, we know God's always working, right? That's Henry Blackaby's experiencing God. One of his big deals, God's always at work. Um, but it's neat when you get to see this. And there's a few guys that I've been working with, and I'm like, man, I can see God changing. I can see God changing their lives, and that's cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's way cool. So yeah, thanks for jumping in with me today.
Thanks for having me.
we won't be here Friday. Paul and I both are going to be on the road. I'm gonna go pick up Hope. This is what a crazy family we are. Um, Warren is going to be out of town, and we need somebody to do Pro Presenter on Sunday.
So you're
So
going to get your daughter?
I'm going to get Hope on Friday, and I'll take her
Wow.
back Sunday after church. Um, yeah. Plus, it's just fun to see her. So
Yeah.
it'll be a whirlwind trip for her.
But she'll be down pretty soon to do the We Got Variety.
Yeah, she's actually coming the beginning of December. So
Cool.
we're going out of town for Thanksgiving, and then she I think gets back for like a week, and then
It's always
then
good to see her.
she'll finish up her finals online, but so she'll have to finish her finals up when she comes back. But
Cool.
yeah, she'll be here. Yeah, it'll be good to have her around for a while.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If I keep her and Hillary apart, those two scare me.
No breaks between them when they get together.
When they start hanging out too much together, golly. Well, let me pray for you guys. Send you off into the week, and just remember that Jesus came to seek and save the lost, and that's a mission that He's given us.
And our job is to follow that example.
Yeah. But we're fishers.
Yep.
Let's go fish.
Yeah.
Father, thank you for your love, for the way that you work in our hearts. Thank you for not giving up on us. Lord, it's so easy for us to get wrapped up in our stuff and our world and ourselves. And God, help us to remember always that the mission is to seek and save the lost, to reach out to a lost and dying world with the good news, the gospel. And God, that means that we have to jump in where they are. Help us to always separate the sin from the sinner, God, and to be a visible demonstration of your love for the world, and do it in a way that brings them to faith in Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thanks for jumping in, guys.
Yeah.
And gals. Oh my goodness, look. Almost 30 minutes. Yeah, this was supposed to be like a 15-minute devotion like 2 years ago when we started. Well, it's fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. It's good to have y'all here. And we'll see you Sunday and Monday.